For the fans, by the fans. Welcome to the only Angels postgame show that keeps it real, win or lose. No filters, no fluff, just raw reactions right after the final out. The Golden Stamos is polished up and somebody's about to take it home. A clutch hit, a game-saving grab, or just straight-up hustle. We see you, but if you played like trash, you're getting the dreaded Nacho Night Award. We saw the missed calls, we saw the blown saves, the clutch moments, and the disasters too. Your comments are front and center, and yeah, we read all of them. Wanna let loose? Call in and sound off live. No scripts, no suits, no spin. This is raw, this is real, this is where the fans take over. This is the Heady Postgame Show with Todd Fox. For the fans, by the fans.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Hey, welcome in everybody to the Halos in the Infield post-game show. I am your host, Todd Fox, as we kick off a Wednesday, wonderful Wednesday, I would like to say, but it is not for your Angels. Again, I haven't done a show in a couple days. We've had some stuff come up as well as the team playing like utter trash, but we'll get into everything involved with tonight's game as the Angels go down for the second straight day to the Milwaukee Brewers, 9-2. And again, this team finds ways to just suck even more, even with the additions of young kids who we've been talking about wanting to get anybody up here with a change of attitude and culture to try to see if they can make the club for next year, get a cup of coffee, play a little bit of baseball up here, and you're figuring, okay, maybe there'll be a bright spot. But every time we get like a bright spot, you have an injury, like losing Neto for the rest of the season. You always have the kind of like the stabbing in the back type of deal. And the Angels have had this type of season where it's really gone downhill since mid-August. And it's just been really pathetic baseball. They've been able to skirt by because the division's very weak. So it hasn't looked as bad as it should. If you had a juggernaut like Milwaukee in our division, I mean, this would be an utter laughable, we'd be 20 to 30 games out of first place by now. But the fact that we have a weak division and Seattle's only caught fire recently, it hasn't looked as bad as it should. I mean, this thing should look very, very bad at this point, but it isn't. And, the Angels going down the way that they did today is just, again, yesterday scoring home runs, 2 solo blasts. Yes, yeah, the kid hit his first home run. You had more with a home run, but that's all they do. And when you're watching this team on television, that's all the broadcasters brag about. That's all they care about is, hey, this guy is a home run here. This guy is a home run there. There's no accountability. There's no like, hey, we got to really stop all these strikeouts. It's just in passing. They say, oh, well, he had 18 strikeouts the other day. He had 16. I mean, 18 mother effing strikeouts out of 27 outs is pathetic. I mean, there's so many adjectives and words to use right there to describe how sucky that is of a performance. Because again, I could see that happening, once in a great while. But when you have 18 strikeouts, you've done that twice this year. You've done 16 strikeouts 4 times. You've done 14 6 times this season. I mean, there's a reason why the Angels lead the league in strikeouts. I mean, and it's not even close. They're a full 100 strikeouts more than the secondary team. They're almost 200 strikeouts ahead of the Colorado Rockies for most strikeouts. So it's never, hey, there's a line drive and that's an out, or hey, that's a long drive. This team is constantly striking out. And there was a period when you had Montgomery take over where they kind of got back to getting on base, getting walks, earning walks, getting 4 to 5 walks per game. The RBIs was getting better. Brandon Stalling says, can I chime in here, Heedy? Yes, you can. Just hit me up in the comments. I'll read the comments as we go along. But this team is far and away nowhere close to being competitive. And as we have gotten news the last few days, obviously Zach Neto's down for the year. You have Ray Montgomery. At this point, everything is looking like we're going to get a clean flush out of the coaching staff. Like, we're going to literally not have Ray Montgomery back. I'm pretty sure that whoever takes the reins at manager, whether it's Torrey Hunter, whether it's any one of these former players, I think they're going to pretty much just bring in their own people. The only other question we have at this moment is whether or not we're going to see Perry Manassian back. And then obviously the stuff that happens in the second half of the year or in the playoffs, we're going to see if we're going to have our owner back. So we have to see what happens. Brandon says, if only our hitting coach hadn't lost his job in the KBO and somehow decided that he was our guy. Johnny Washington is not the guy. And I think anybody with a brain that has watched baseball knows that that guy is not the real deal. Paul Sorrento before him. Again, I brought it up many times on the Heedy post-game show. By the way, we're for the fans, by the fans, by the fans, for the fans. We're in the stands with you. We'll be there for the final homestand. And I have some news talking about a party at Bruheim on Saturday, right before the end of the season, right there next Saturday for one of our last home games. If you want to come down there for drink specials and hang out, we're going to do a pregame show and as well have a get together and then a post game there too. But anyway, getting back to it, we'll find out what happens with Artie Moreno after the season. We'll see if obviously he's going to lose a Skaggs deal, and then you're also going to have the situation with the stadium deal. The audit is the big one. So we'll sit on that. But for right now, the only thing I could say is that this team is going to need a complete overhaul. And Brandon says it best right here. So Sam Blum can jam up Ray about terrible sends out Bo Porter, but we can average 9 strikeouts plus per game. Nothing about lack of contact. Accountability is an issue with this organization, especially. And that's a good point, Brandon, because again, nobody holds anybody to the fire. And the problem is, too, with this team and the way they're playing, I'm tired of seeing them play like this, too. When you watch an opponent come into Anaheim Stadium, you notice the fact that there's 2 different teams on the field, obviously. But there's also 2 ways of playing the game. Other teams can come in here and really work the pitchers' counts, get our guys in trouble. They get guys on because they work walks. They go the other way when, again, our pitchers are pitching on the outside corner. The other team says, okay, well, if you're going to pitch us away to our pull ball hitters, we're going to instruct our pull ball hitters to go the other way, to take the ball to right field and stuff like that. Our hitting, the reason why we've hit all these solo home runs, because that's all we do. For the last 4 runs we scored in Milwaukee, all solo home runs. And that's because, again, we're just looking to drive the ball. That's all it is to it. So if you're going to pitch us and you're going to make a mistake on a slider, sweeper, fastball in the inside part of a plate to a left-handed hitter or a right-handed hitter, yeah, they're going to go with it. They're going to drive it. They have the launch angle. They have the exit velocity, everything that Gooby goobs himself over. That's what we do. However, if you're willing to go with the pitches and they're pitching you on the outside, you're going to strike out. You're going to pop up to right field. Or if you're not willing to go with it, I should say, and you're trying to pull the ball, you're going to pop up, you're going to strike out, you're going to roll over into a weak ground ball to the left side or even up the middle. The Angels don't use any, they don't adjust during the games. We've talked about that. The terrible hitting coaches and the strategy is garbage. And that's why until they get back to a old school approach of small ball, trying to work the pitches, trying to get on base, trying to do all that kind of stuff, valuing on base percentage and the art of the walk, we're never going to be good. If you watched the game at all and it was 6-3, right? And it was I think it was 6-2. And they were saying, hey man, this guy needs to get an out right here. They have the bases loaded. It's still a close game. Ray Montgomery came out there to talk to the pitcher. He needs to get out of this inning, right? So he comes in there and automatically, like 4 pitches later, he hits one down the line. What does Gooby say? And I quote, as the ball got into the corner and it turned into a triple, cleared the bases and made it 9-2. And I quote, Gubazov said this. He said, well, that's all it takes is contact right there. Exit velocity was only 78 miles per hour. Again, why do we care about this? I've said this all year. There has been a clear want for this organization to tell you, the fan, that exit velocity, StatCast, And all this bullshit analytics means everything. And that don't worry about it. It's going to work. Where it has worked is in the favor of the opponent. I've always said since my playing days, and my coaches said it, and other teams that win, they always preach the fact that it doesn't matter as how the ball gets there, as long as it reaches the grass, gets by the infielder, hit it where they ain't is where what I always heard. But these nerds come in there and all they care about is exit velocity. How hard did he hit it? It's like, well, wait, sir, I just had an RBI single I had first and second. I drove a run in. Yeah, but your exit velocity was only 38 miles per hour. Like you hit that off the end of the bat. So I fucking found the green. That's all that matters. It got into the outfield and the run scored. No. These guys only care about how the fact you hit. Why do you think that Wayne Randazzo comes on there and says, "Oh, I don't like the bunts. That's a waste of an out." What are you talking about? It's a waste of an out. It's only a waste of an out if you bunt it up in the air, you strike out. But you put that sucker on the ground, you're forcing the defense to make a play. Oftentimes they make an error. Oftentimes they bobble the ball, and that's a free base runner. Now, how is he saying a sacrifice fly works better than a freaking bunt? Because if you hit a sacrifice fly to the outfield, there's a chance that runner gets thrown out going to third base and second base. But that usually a fly ball to the outfield is an automatic out regardless. So the whole argument, it defeats itself. It's stupidity on all kinds of levels. And these are the people that are running our franchise. These are the people that are saying this is what we should do. And it has not worked for 2 seasons. So going back to my point earlier on this rant was talking about how is this team going to do, or when 2 teams get on the field, one looks completely different from the other. If you've gone to any Angel games this year, whether on the road or at Anaheim Stadium, you see one Angels team show up, or the Angels show up, and it's quick outs. It's like 1, 2, 3. They don't have these long innings that they force and put pressure on the defense and the pitcher and the coaching staff to adjust their defense, to adjust the way they're going to pitch in that moment. And when the team does put pressure on the opponent and they get 2 men on and nobody out, and the pitcher says, okay, I'm pitching from the stretch. I've got to work now the sweeper. I've got to utilize not the fastball. I got to go with my curveball. I got to go with my best stuff, right? The Angels don't adjust to that. If they could bust them in. And I mean, there's so many failures on this squad. I mean, again, 9-2, both games in Milwaukee. I know Milwaukee's good, but again, you're only swinging for the fences. And when you don't swing, and when that's all you're doing, you don't care about getting guys on base. This team, shockingly enough, has a lot of speed on it. A lot of speed. If I were the manager, I would be instructing these guys. I'd be working with them extra on batting practice, on bunting, on going the other way, on situational hitting. I would be not saying, okay, this is our game plan from innings 1 to 9. No. If the game changed because we fell behind by 4 runs, well, then I'm going to adjust the game plan and the hitting for the rest of the game. And the same thing goes for the pitching. And if we were up 4 runs, then I'm going to adjust as well, or I'm going to stick with what's working. You see, that's how it's done. Our team, no matter what, we go down 9-0. The only thing they change is, well, we need a position player out there. Can't waste that bullpen. There's a lot of things that need to change in this organization and on the coaching side, that if we run it back again, like a terrible team on the basketball court, when you're out there and you just whip this team twice, and the guy that, that's running the 5 that you just beat says, hey, let's run it back. You're looking at him like he's crazy. Like, we just smoked you guys twice. You want to do it again? That's what us fans are going to say next year if we get the same sort of weak table setting hitters. Again, this team has all kinds of speed. In my opinion, Zach Neto should not be hitting in the 1 spot. Zach Neto is not a table setter. That dude is a guy who can get things going with a big inning, with a big bomb, with a double, with a triple. We've seen him do it with a single. That's a prototypical number 4. Yet what we're doing, and again, I would love to have Ward protect Neto at 5. And I would put Adele at 3. And I'd slip Mike Trout's not wanting to work on his game to number 7. I really would, because right now, I don't look. If I ran the Angels, I'd run it like Pete Carroll. I'd be like, nobody has earned a spot in a prime spot. Every week we're going to compete. So if you're not competing, then you don't deserve a spot. I love Evie's comment there on TikTok. Where are you going to put Rendon? The unemployment line. That's where I'm going to put Rendon. Rendon's best helping to this team is in the unemployment line. This team is, listen, I will say this from the start. If they were to utilize the strengths of this team and really help them to get to the next level, it'd be utilizing the speed, working on the hitting, making the contact, forcing these teams to pitch and get into their own heads. You know what I mean? Like, because the opportunity to strike against a team that is throwing too many pitches is good. You want to work the starting pitching. You want to get the ball. I mean, because that's what other teams do to us. Our starting pitchers get into all kinds of problems. And then they're out of there in the fourth or fifth inning. And then we're going into the bullpen because they've worked our pitchers. Our pitchers either nibble or they get into problems or we have errors. So, yeah, it's like Funny Bone says, even the worst teams look better than the Angels right now. Again, we lead the league in strikeouts. We've set a record in strikeouts. And there's still games to be played. We're striking out double digits every fucking night. Again, in late June, early July, you had the team kind of, again, working through its issues, earning walks, prolonging innings, getting hits. Now it's the same bullshit every night. 1 run, 5 hits, 2 runs, 6 hits, 2 runs, 3 hits. Again, the record speaks for itself. When the Angels score 4 or more runs, they have a winning record at almost 20 games over 500. You could look it up. When they score 3 or less, I mean, obviously the record is just trash. It's ass. I think they barely have double-digit wins, but they have like 50 losses. Jerry says it's sad when we can see where the issues are right in front of the management doesn't either. And that's the thing. The management, I don't know if I got to say that they're not stupid enough to see what we see. I just think their egos are so big. They don't care. They don't want to change. Because again, even if my job is not on the line and I know I have a 3-year contract, I'm wasting my players' talent. I'm not utilizing what you gave me. I'm making the GM mad. And if it's not my call, I'm going to make all kinds of fucking trouble with the upstairs department of Dennis Cool and all those other guys that are running the organization. Like, hey man, get those analytics assholes off my back. I need to run this team the way I need to run it. And quit. And look, I would not, if Ray Montgomery really had a problem with analytics and says, hey, I can't be the guy who I'm supposed to be. If Ron Washington really had that, I'd have so much respect. Because usually when people quit on teams, we always look at them as, man, what a piece of shit. You know, you never quit on your team. But if they're quitting for legitimate reasons, because the organization's being run by complete morons, yes, by all means, I'd be like, hey, dude, if Ray Montgomery's coming out here, if Ron Washington's coming out here and they're saying, hey, I can't do this because they're not allowing me to be who I am, which is a lifer in baseball, a manager, a player, everything. Like Ray Montgomery's a former player. Ron Washington's a former player. Did you see Ron Washington manage this ass when he was in other places? No. But he's being told what to do. They're sort of like pawns. They're like on strings. They're like puppets. And I don't like that. If I hire a guy to run the team as a general manager, well, by God, he's going to run the damn team. And if he sinks or swims, that's on him. And if it's got to be up to me to fire the guy, extend the guy, well, there you go. It's all about performance. But you could see the performance is bad. Pitching, we've been screaming as fans, please God, give us a freaking starting rotation to be respectful in the league. We don't have and haven't had a respectful rotation in decades. Not even years, decades. It starts and ends with pitching. Yes, hitting can get you through a regular season, but it ain't going to do shit for you in the postseason. Ask any team that's tried to hit their way to a championship. Doesn't work. But you do need balance. You do need balance, and you do need the type of hitting that scares teams, that continues rallies, that continues innings. You could look at every other team that comes to Anaheim Stadium, and most nights they can put things together. Most nights, if we're dicking around keeping a team in the game, they come around, and all of a sudden, at some point they switch things up. They catch on to what we're pitching, and because our hitting has 1 run on 3 hits, they're able to knock in a couple runs and beat us. And that's with some good pitching that we got on that particular night. Mike says, I respect your passion, bro, because I had to tune out the games and all the updates for about a month ago, from a month ago. And that sucks. It sucks because, again, you're not having, this is not what Angel fans deserve. Stommy Gun says right here, we have false expectations of being a playoff team. Also, our farm team isn't helping. Dana looks worse. That's, to me, listen, I had our boy on here, Josh, and he came on here and did the show. Jerry says the same. He came on and did a show with us, right? Or with me. And he was saying why is it that we have these good players, these good starting pitchers that have good stuff? A lot of us kind of scoff if you're just a casual and you don't look at what these guys have. Kana Dana, you would think, oh man, he kind of sucks. But when you see the kind of stuff he has, when you see what he's done in the minor leagues, why is it that it changes when they get to the big leagues? Why is it that we utilize them different? Why is it that instead of using them as a starter, we say, hey, you can pitch 3 innings? Why is it that the hitters tear it up in Salt Lake, they tear it up in Rocket City, they look really good, and then they come up here and they're not doing a damn thing? And then just like Mike's saying right there, Soriano's got great stuff, but can't stay consistent. But, however, he talks to Pedro Martinez before a start, and he comes out and has his best start of the season. Why is that? Because that's good coaching. Barry Enright, to a degree, does a okay job, so, but I've soured on him. If these pitchers, they don't get it. They're in different situations every year, every game. And it's different at the major league level. There's so much pressure. There's so much heat. There's so much anticipation. The crowds are bigger, everything, right? There's so much pressure. So you need a hitting instructor that has a good game plan, that has a good regimen for you as a starting pitcher between starts. And also C or three, whatever. The third point being you need a bullpen pitch, well, not a bullpen, but a pitching coach to give you the right stats, to give you the right game plan, to help you out in that, to attack the opponent. Then also you need someone to get in your ear to tell you the right thing, to be like, hey man, you've got everything going for you. You're going to be okay. Just give you all the momentum that you need to become a better pitcher, to help you utilize things like, hey, try to keep the you're tipping your pitches. You got to keep, don't go with such a high leg kick. You get more velocity off your back foot when you don't. Little things like that are beautiful. And that's why, again, we keep hiring these idiots that don't have a background, that never played competitive baseball, that were maybe in Korea, that were maybe just minor league at best. You need to hire people that know their shit, that played in big games. That's why a lot of these coaches that are on these staffs do so much better, like a Mark Pryor with the Dodgers, and so on and so on. There's so many players, former players. I mean, why do you think the Angels back in the day hired Rod Carew, Hall of Famer? Because he was a hitter. He could help utilize his talent, what he took to the game, and help the next generation advance their skills. That's why he was so great. That's why when Mickey Hatcher was here, the team could hit like crazy, because Mickey Hatcher was a good hitter. And he utilized what he learned as a batter and gave that to the next generation. And look at the great players that he spawned, that he helped spawn in the Socia era. It's all gone downhill since the coaching staffs have changed. It's all gone downhill since the analytics have come. It's all gone downhill since Artie Moreno got rid of everybody in that Disney area. So until we get back to a semblance of a baseball team, you're going to continue to see the same stupid shit. And again, you have hitters that should not be trying to hit home runs, trying to go for home runs. And again, you wonder why these batting averages are so pathetic. You wonder why we can't get guys on or get hits with runners in scoring position. It's because we have the same mindset for every at bat. It doesn't matter the pitcher. It doesn't matter if we have a face a southpaw, a right-hander, a knuckleballer. It doesn't matter. We're just all trying to swing for the fences, and you're teaching the kids who developed good things down in the minor leagues bad habits when they get up here. It should be opposite. You should be weeding all the bad habits out before you get here, not introducing Kyron Paris to the swing or all or nothing swing. That's what I'm convinced ruined him, because he was doing great in the minor leagues. He was hitting for average, hitting home runs, doubles, threat on the bases. He comes up here and all he wants to do is hit home runs. You get these other kids up here. It's like, man, they're doing really good. Christian Moore's blowing through the minors. Man, he's looking really good, getting hits, raising that average. Comes up here, 4 strikeouts tonight. He's batting like 176. So, again, you send like a player like Griffin Canning, who literally, and I'm bringing that up because someone put that in the comments, right, with Griffin Canning. You have a guy like Griffin Canning. And before his devastating injury that he had at the end of the season, before he had that actually it was before the All-Star break. He was on his way to an All-Star appearance for the Mets. He was their best pitcher at the time. You know what he said when asked, man, what is the turnaround? Why have you just now, like it feels like you figured it out here in New York? They said, what's the key to your success this year, Mr. Canning? And Mr. Canning said, they just told me to throw my changeup more. I mean, Brandon Marsh couldn't hit 200. He gets off the plane in Philadelphia when we traded him, and the hitting coach was there to meet him and was like, hey, tomorrow we go to work. Glad you're Philadelphia Philly. He introduced himself, said, we're going to work. Like he already did the homework on Brandon Marsh and knew exactly how to fix him. And now look at him. He's a fringe all-star with him. I mean, it's I'm only laughing out of frustration. I'm not laughing at you, the Angel fan, because I'm an Angel fan. It's just frustrating to watch other players leave here and succeed when all it took was a tweak or two, a change of philosophy, a right kind of coaching staff. Because again, look what Pedro Martinez did to Soriano. Look what some of these hitters got from in spring training from guys who made appearances like Albert Pujols, Manny Ramirez, just to name a few. Former Angel players, Garrett Anderson. Those players make a difference. The mentality, this is where the analytic nerds are stupid as fuck. They think the game has changed. They think that what they know is far better than the players who ever played ball. This game has never changed. The stadiums have, the jerseys have, but you still have the same dimensions, the same bats. You can't get any faster. Steroids are gone. So everyone's on a supposed even playing field, except salary-wise. But you get the point. The ball hasn't changed. Everything's the same. So why don't we attack it the same? And when you bring in these players to help out or bring in a new manager staff, you want players who have a pedigree of success. I don't want to bring in a guy like Paul Sereno before Mr. Washington this year and last year, or in the end, Marcus Thames, who was an habitual strikeout dude, and he got us to strike out even more last year. And then you got Ron Washington, who says, hold my beer, and he topped it. So, and let's see, Osario says, well, then whose fault is it at this point? It starts at the top, trickles all the way down. It's Artie Moreno. Hands down, Artie Moreno. But you don't hire the right people also to run this team. You meddle worse than Jerry Jones. And some people say, well, he's the MLB, what is it called? Jerry Jones. No, he's not. At least Jerry Jones gets the Cowboys to the playoffs. We have not been to the playoffs. Even with them adding extra positions for the wild card, we still can't make the playoffs. This team, I'm telling you, and a lot of people tell me that this team is not good enough to win. I disagree with that. I disagree. If you had the right kind of coaching staff in place, pound for pound, talent the way it is, and you had the right guys guiding and helping the youth of this team, because a lot of people have already given up on Christian Moore, not giving this fucker a chance, knowing that he got rushed through the minor league system, and this is literally his not even his first full year. He's a deer in the headlights a lot. And we've created a mentality and a culture of deer in the headlights, like Reed Detmers. We screwed that guy over numerous times. There's a reason why he looks scared at times. And when he finally got it together is when he got that dog look in his face, like, hey, I'm going to strike you out. Like he wasn't scared anymore. And then all of a sudden he's got the arm trouble, and who knows what's going to happen with him. But my point is, I believe we have enough talent on this roster to be very competitive. Not World Series, but a team that can scratch, kick, and claw and get to a wild card spot. Yes, I do believe. But if you have the talent that says, okay, most of the players on this team have speed, most of the players can, when they get on base, can cause havoc, and we're decent defensively. Decent. If you take Taylor Ward out of the outfield, God, that guy sucks in the outfield. But my point is, we have the guys to do it. I believe Ohapi's better than how he finished the year. A lot of these guys are better. Shonawell was showing very good shades. He was our best hitter, our only hitter that worked counts, that was always habitually getting 4 to 6 pitches per at bat. All the rest of our guys are like swing, 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 out, or swing first pitch, out. And see, like he says, Brandon says, my previous statement, Kyron Paris came from a very reliable source. Yes. The thing is, we're really good at ruining players. Really good. Oh, Brandon says, like immediate family member. Well, there you go, Brandon. Well, here's the thing. I met that dude in spring training, and we sat down. And I interviewed him when he came out there to dedicate that baseball field to the special needs kids, because my daughter's special needs. So he was there. He was very nice, very cool guy. He sat down, had a 10-minute interview with him, and we recorded, we uploaded, and I was like, dude, you're tearing it up in spring training. I hope you make the roster. He was very hopeful too at the time. And it was like the next day they announced Kyron Paris made the team. And Kyron, again, my only thing with him is it's how they're instructing these guys. So Brandon says in his comment, Kyron Paris was forced to find a third-party hitting coach after our organization determined all hitters come to the league with tools to make the MLB All-Star game. This is not the case, especially that young. And our organization didn't have anyone to seek counsel from. So he went to a 60-year-old geezer who never hit a fastball. That's the problem. This is, and I'm glad you left that comment. Listen, Brandon, if he's a family member, close person, I tell him to get back to contact swings. That guy would be a superstar. I didn't mean that, because there was a time when he was up here where he had the best arm, reliable. Listen, Adele has made milestone improvements defensively and hitting this year, but defensively, he's had a couple errors, yes, but he is really good and now reliable. I don't fret when he's out there. However, when you did have Kyron Paris out there, and even though he was scuffling, I seen him make some plays and some throws. And he was the only one when he was in center field that did not have a close collision with any of these outfielders. When he said, I got the ball, get out of my way, I got it, everyone stopped. Trout, when he was in right field, ran into Adele. Adele ran into him. Ward ran into Adele. Adele ran into Ward. These guys don't know how to run the outfield, dude. Not even Trout when he's out of center field. But Kyron Paris, I'm telling you, guys like him and the young kids that they've pulled up in the last few games, Kai Boom, he's another guy who I think it could be a good hitter. He's a replacement right now for Shonwell. They've got some guys, and they could have some hitting that that could show up. But see, Stommy Gun says, sorry, Ward and Adele have range, look lost going after balls, and have the worst arms in the league. And I don't disagree with that as far as like I don't think Adele has a bad arm. I think sometimes he makes the wrong decisions as far as how to throw the ball or who to throw the ball to. But dude, there's nobody worse than freaking Taylor Ward. I will say that all the way. Kyler says, should I go to an Angels game next season knowing we are so bad? No, because again, there is a optimism and a hope, maybe 30% chance that we could have an opportunity of an ownership change. If he gets effed over in that audit, then we're talking he's got to pay out anywhere from 500 million, which is a lot, anywhere from 500 million to 1.7 billion dollars for a renovation of Anaheim Stadium. So right now the hope is that the iron is rusted out, which I've seen, that it's falling apart, that stadium needs a lot of upgrades because, and he won't be able to afford it at best, or at worst, if it came down to that, he would have to sell portions or percentages of the team, and you would have now a group. And now Artie doesn't make all the rules, and you can maybe get someone competent in there to run the team, or he just straight up sells. Teodosio could be good, but again, he's like Kyron Paris. Teodosio's too tall to be swinging that kind of way. He's actually, if I were his batting instructor, if I was someone that had to look at him and say, okay, how do we make this guy better in the box? I would have him kind of crouch down a little bit, like just crouch down, because his strike zone is too big for his kind of swing and for his type of player. So yeah, you kind of have him crouch down a little bit, bend the knees a little bit, do a little bit less of the leg kick, kind of keep your feet set in the ground, maybe just raise your heel a little bit, keep your toes on your front foot out, and then have him try to make just be contact, because he's taking home run swings just like Kyron Paris, and that's a waste of an at bat. If you have, and there's no reason why Louis Renifo should be doing that this far into his career. Why is he swinging for the fences too? Guys like him should be more controlled. They should be looking to make the strike zone smaller, and they should be looking for contact swings. Just get it off the barrel of the bat, and good things will happen. So, again, this is what this team needs. I believe this team could be a final wild card spot type of team, even with the pitching they have, because you think about it, if they're let's say for going from 14 strikeouts down to 6 or 7, right, per game. That means you're putting the ball in play, you're earning walks, you're getting on base, you're forcing more pitches, you're getting to that bullpen earlier, you're manufacturing runs, because that's a word that this organization doesn't understand. Manufacturing runs. It's all the only thing they understand with those putrid announcers is exit velocity and what is it called? The launch angle. That's all they care about. But if you were to go back to the basics and play baseball the way it is, and purify it, and get rid of the analytics, I guarantee you, this team would be far better. This team would be 10 games or more better. And they would be playing, and the games they would lose would not be blowouts. They would not have to refer to freaking a pitcher to actually, or not a pitcher, a position player to throw an inning or two. We would not talk about, because look at the bullpen, how they're utilizing it. None of these guys go over an inning. None of them. Like, you can look in the box score and be like, oh, well, Kikuchi only gave you 4 innings, and then you had 5 guys pitch 1 inning. Why couldn't, and you're talking about wasting the bullpen? Why can't one of those guys just go 2.5? The other guy go 2.5, finish out the game. Why do we have to go an inning? And it's not like they were lit up in those innings. They were putting up zeros. They're actually putting up zeros. How many times has starting pitching allowed runs in the first 3 innings? Too many. Yeah, that's another thing. That comes down to not adjusting at all. Mr. Panda says Ward has a horrible time trying to increase the hitting zone, but his very well once in a while. Adele has the rebuilding, has been rebuilding. He's been working as well as he can, and with his improvements. He has had a very nice season. Um, 66ers will have a far better experience. And the funny thing is too, and see, here's the thing too. My friend EQ says I've just been watching Padres and Mets games. Those teams work the counts. The Angels are nowhere near their caliber. That's the problem. What I've noticed too, Stommy Gun says pitchers are adjusting to our guys coming up, and they're not adjusting to stay ahead of the pitchers. And again, we're ruining careers, people. We're ruining careers because the longer we have these guys strike out, the more and more their confidence goes down. The more and more they feel the pressure to get a home run instead of get hits, slowly work your average up, just get on base, score runs. If you tell me Kyron Paris, or let's just say Teodosio, since he's up here right now, if you're telling me that Teodosio can go 0 for 3, but he worked a walk and he had a sacrifice. So in all actuality, he had 5 at bats, but he had maybe a strikeout, fly out, ground out, or even a strikeout, fly out, ground out, right? But in those 5 at bats, 2 at bats where he got on with a walk, came around and scored, and then also when we had a runner at first base, he laid down a bunt and was thrown out at first base. So technically he's 0 for 3, but he had the sacrifice in a walk and a run scored. Dude, that's a productive night. So there's ways players don't even need to register a hit to have a productive night. But when your night says Christian Moore 0 for 5 or 0 for 4 and 4 strikeouts, that's not productive. That's not productive. Now, after the first couple strikeouts, you would think our hitting coach would come over to Moore and be like, hey, what you're doing, this is what I'm seeing right here. This is what I need you to change in this next at bat. Try to do this instead of this is what you're doing. I mean, you have the technology. It's right there. It's not like olden days where you could just point it out and say, here, follow what I'm trying to show you. And physically sit there in the dugout and show him this is what you're doing wrong. No, you can go to the film and show him real time what he did in that at bat previous. All we see is our dumbass coaches on their fat asses. Every now and then when they peer into the dugout or when you're at a game, look at the Angels dugout compared to other teams. The other teams are much more into it with their players, at least the ones that don't rely on heavy analytics, and they're trying to get them better. And you'll see players holding tablets, sitting next to coaches, pitchers saying, hey, man, I gave up 3 runs in that inning. I didn't like what I was doing. Coach, what did I do? Can you point out what I did wrong? Well, sure, son. Here's what you did wrong. And here's what you can work on. So that's the big difference with our team compared to others is we don't have that hands-on either. I mean, there's so many differences, but that's coaching can make a huge difference. Our approach, our game plan can make a huge difference on where this team winds up. And that's the problem. See, Brandon also said, I'm just reading these because he's a family member right here. He says they asked him to stop being so aggressive and more pitches early in the season. He immediately regressed. Yeah, see, they wanted him to take more pitches, and that plays with your head. You got to work towards his capabilities. They literally coached him out of being effective. Then after he struggled, he opted to go back to hitting aggressively, and they sent him down with an uncoachable label. That makes sense. That makes sense. Because this team, the more and more you think about it, they don't know what they've got. They literally don't know what they got till it's gone. Also doesn't help that we trade guys like Moniak because Kyron Paris was lights out. That's what King Ray says here. Teodosio defensively has been extremely reliable. Yeah, defense is great. Todd Fox for GM. I know you'll tell Artie to get the fuck out of here. I would, and that's what you'd have to do. You'd have listen. Anybody that takes this job right now, I'm convinced, under Artie's reign of terror and Dennis Cool and Carpino and everybody at the head of the table, if you take the job right now, it's more of a money grab. Or, hey, I'm going to audition for another job somewhere else. Because a real winning manager would come in here and be like, listen, if I don't have control of my guys and I'm not on the same game plan as our current general manager, then what the fuck am I doing here? Like, I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to embarrass these guys. That's their livelihood. This might be their only chance. I would be more concerned about coaching the guys like the Teodosios, like the freaking Kyron Parises, like the Joe Adells, guys who haven't had their big paydays yet. I wouldn't give a fuck about Mike Trout. I'd be like, well, dude, if he doesn't want to change his shit, if he wants to be a freaking diva, well, then so be it. And then Anthony Rendon, I'd be like, well, it's time for you to hit the freaking unemployment. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't want him anywhere infecting this team next year. We got him for one more year. Just stay your ass in Houston. Pay him off. Pay him to be away. You made the mistake. Just live with it. Go with it. Move on. And by the way, Luke says, when's the Dodger Lodge takeover? That's going to be Friday. That's going to be Friday of next week. Friday of next week is when we're going to call in and give him shit because he doesn't work the weekends. And by the way, no Angels post game. Gee, I wonder why on AM 830, the flagship of your Angels, not Locked On Cox, not that shit, but the real post game show that's supposed to hit the airwaves and the internet and be so massive and give the Angel fans the voice to voice their frustration. They never come on when they lose. They always come on when they win because you want to get Trent Rush on there saying, hey, come down to OG's and I will be there at Brewery X on Sunday and I'll be there signing autographs. And this team is so good. They got the win tonight, 5-2. And blah, 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 blah. But he won't come on, suck it up and face the fans when they lose 9-2, will he? No, he won't. Because that's the deer in headlights franchise we're used to. There was a time when the Angels radio station would be on religiously pre and post game, every game. Did not matter. Rain delay. If the game took 6 hours to play, by God, they came on with a freaking post game. The day they stopped doing that, the day they stopped caring about the fans, that's when I created this shit with Fernando. Because it's like, dude, I wanted the real fans that go to the games like we do, to voice their frustration and let everybody else know, hey, man, this isn't cool. We hate the owner. We hate the way this franchise is going. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. It is really embarrassing. Artie is the worst professional owner in sports. I agree there. Funny Bone says the further Paris got from his offseason coaching, the bad habits begun. That's the sad thing. Artie said he's going to pick up the next manager, not Perry, he said. What? I love that, Corey. What the hell does Artie know about baseball? I'll tell you, I played the game. I was in the minors. But I don't profess to say, hey, man, I know exactly what's right. I could say, hey, I could steer the Angels in the right direction. I could tell you who I think would be the best fit because I'm a fan. I follow this team religiously. I don't think Artie does that. I don't think Artie knows who's in our low A ball. I don't even think he knows the 66ers are playing for a championship. It's really, really terrible to hear that guy is going to involve himself in the hiring process of anybody. He shouldn't be giving advice to anybody, not even the water guy. See also, what do you feel? Get a few more comments in here. By the way, on the next Saturday, not this Saturday coming up, the following Saturday against Houston, the day before the end of the season, where it's going to be giving away the team photo. It's effectively the fan appreciation day against the Houston Astros. We're going to be at Bruheim at 3 o'clock to 6 p.m. right before first pitch. The Halo Boys. So if you know the Halo Boys, are going to be doing another revolution in right field. So if you have your white outfits and your Angels gear, your Angel Halo, come out to Bruheim first because there's going to be pizza over there. We're going to have drink specials for heaty discounts and stuff like that. So we're going to be hanging out. There's a nice lounge right there. We're going to do a pregame show and a roundtable to where some fans, if you want to get on the podcast, we'll take questions and comments. And if you want to give your grades on players, we're going to do about an hour show before we get into a brief pregame, and then we'll walk our ass over there to the stadium or drive over, one of the two. But there you go. Yeah, we're going to have a nice day at Bruheim. It's going to be like Brewery X, but it's going to be more interactive. So we'll have some fun. Mr. Panda says, what do you feel worse, Trout not playing a full season or Trout being awful, batting finally to finish the season? And then also before him, Gino says, are we ever going to grow a pair and boycott? No, we need big groups, big pages to all get on board. So if you have a problem with the Angels organization, you need to go to Instagram, Facebook, if that's still a thing, TikTok, go to all the creators that have thousands of freaking followers and say, hey, we need to boycott this organization. Let's unify our pages. Locked on Cox has one of the biggest voices, and they've turned us down, and they said, no, can't boycott. They won't grow a pair because they don't got a pair. But if they did have a pair, they would be asking us to join them. But I had to ask them, and they ranked on us because, they don't possess what most males do between their legs. It's just, I'm just saying. But with that being said, though, if you're going to start something, you need everybody in. We got to get through our differences and just say, fuck it. We're here for the Angels. Fuck who any kind of back and forth we have, right? I would, if they were to say, hey, man, let's do a revolution like the Halo Boys and let's boycott the Angels, or let's start chanting at games. Let's do this. Let's do that. Boy, I'd be 100%. I'd be like, hey, man, my bad. I will never say a bad word about you again. Let's move on. Bygones be bygones. We're here for the Angels fans. Let's make a movement. Let's demonstrate that we're pissed off. But no, that can't happen until we get everybody on board. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. It's a nice dream, but I don't think so. Let's see. And as far as Trout's concerned, right now, I thought we were going to have 500, 550, something like that he's aiming towards. Instead, we got like 400, and we're still stuck on 399. It's been terrible since 2020. It's been sad. He's our hero. He's our Casey at bat. And the fact that he's not performing, it's sickening because this is not the route that you and I and other Angel fans have wanted for the guy, for Mr. Loyal. And we'll never be upset that he wanted to stay loyal. I think everyone has their own opinion. My opinion is if he was a real leader, he would have led this team to greater and better days. If he was a real leader, he would have stepped up and told Artie to fuck off and let someone run this team, get him some players, get him some help, or I'm out of here. That's the only part of Trout's game besides the disappointment on the field with him not changing his batting stance that I'm ashamed of. I really wish he would have turned into that guy. I much rather see him have success in another state, in another place than here. I want to see him succeed, but he's been on his ass because he's okay with the norm, doesn't want to rock the boat, and has too big of an ego to change that batting stance. He's gotten a little bit older. Injuries have slowed him down a little bit. You got to change that. You got to change that leg kick if you're going to catch up to a fastball. And if you don't do that, you're going to play yourself out. You're going to play yourself out. I think it's worse, in my opinion. Halo Therapy says Artie is much more negligent. Not sure how many players Jerry Jones killed or how many FBI probes. That is true. Good points. We need to find dirt on Artie. Actually, never mind. He's already gotten away with so much. King Ray says Artie keeps reminding me of the owner of Rookie of the Year, where he probably gets all excited because he gets the toy ring from a fucking cracker jack box and has no clue what's going on in the game. That's probably right there. Also, Trout doesn't have protection like he did with Fletcher, Ohtani, etc. But it's still, but see, that's the thing though. I disagree, Stommy Gun. The fastballs, he should be catching up to those. When pitchers are not scared to throw fastballs to your power hitter, there's a problem. If they're throwing curveballs and sweepers and they're getting them out on that, okay, I could see that because those are junk pitches, right? You're setting them up with a fastball. But they're actually saying, no, 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 try to hit this fastball at 93, 95. And he's still missing it. Somebody needs to hit on his wife and take one for the team. He'll need to divorce and sell a team. That's what happened with Frank McCourt. Halo Therapy says, Big Todd, let's pod soon, bro. Miss you, man. So bummed the season went the way it always does. Well, Halo Therapy, if anything, come out next Saturday, not this Saturday, the following, and you can come out and do a roundtable with us, dude. I'd love to have you on the panel for our page because we're going to sort of just sum up the season on what a train wreck it is. So if you want to come down, man, you're more than welcome. And if not, my boy, we could do a podcast from here. Just text me, man. You got my number. Brandon says already bought the team for $187 million. It's worth at least $2 to $3 billion at this point. So that is facts. That is facts. My guy's only collecting paychecks now. Sad. And it's true. The Real Deal says hire the Fish or Garrett Anderson. I can tell you right now, the Fish wants nothing to do with the team as far as coaching. As far as Garrett Anderson, I think they're both both good at being consultants, and that's it. The comments over here on YouTube, as I'm getting to them late here, DJ says, "Yo, I got your coolers. So if you're at the softball tournament this Saturday, DJ, I got those for you." Daniel says, happy Wednesday. Hello, everybody. Also, Dan Rio says, didn't think there was going to be a show. Saucy says, God bless anybody still watching. This shit is torture. Saucy also says, September baseball as an Angels fan is like being the lowest reaches of hell. Eek. Dan says, Brew Crew will sweep. Where's Artie the idiot? Where's drunk Artie? Albert Pujols says, no Pinches Mamas way. We lost to I can't even say that. Del Milwaukee. Olivetica. Also, can I chime in? Yeah, I already read those comments right there. L's. Brandon, thank you for commenting. Also, Strange says, I ran out of criticism with this shit show of a team. An overhaul of this team is needed like D's nuts. Yeah, and I think he's going with this right here. Hold on, I got to find that soundbite. Wasn't ready with the sound bites yet.
These nuts. Got him. Got him.
Josh, on one of our latest episodes, he chimes in. He says, we're super ass. Strange says, take the red pill and you wake up in September realizing this team is complete ass. Josh says, Joe Adell is the only legitimate home run hitter on this team. If you don't have elite bat speed, you should not be swinging for home runs. And again, another fine point there by Josh, because again, we have numbers 1 through 9 in the lineup continuing to think that they can hit home runs, and that's just not true. It's just not true. You got to play to the strengths of this team. You can't be sitting there thinking that all these guys can hit all these home runs every night. The home runs aren't going to win you games. It's been proven. We have, I think it's the 4th or 5th most home runs in all of baseball. 75% of those are with nobody on, all pure solo shots. There's a reason why also we have the lowest runners in scoring position hitting average at 227, which means also we're over 150 RBIs less than the top 5 teams who have hit home runs. So what that means is, yeah, we're hitting solo home runs. Yeah, the fireworks and fire is going off, but nobody's on base. And we're not getting those 2 and 3 run home run innings. So it's better for us if we work hits and try to get 3 or 4 runs at a time by manufacturing runs, by getting doubles of the bases loaded or guys on with first and second, actually having speed, utilizing what got these players to the bigs on the field at the major league level. So it blows my mind how you can have the Teodosios, the all the guys with speed, even as he's battled through an injury all year this year, Adele with that thigh issue, even Renifo. The only guys that are slow-ass players is freaking Shonawell and Taylor Ward. Even Ohapi's got wheels on him, but we don't utilize the speed. We don't utilize the speed at all, where we could be driving one to the gap instead of worrying about exit velocity. We could be poking one into center field with a runner at second base and taking it and going all the way home. But no, it's just, hey, swing for the fence. That's where strikeouts are born. That's where strikeouts continue to be. I'll be laughing on the ground if we get swept by the Rockies, and that's coming up soon. That series is right around the corner. I'm hoping Dan Rios says that the Yankees fire Boone and we can come. He can come back to the OC and manage the Angels. DJ says it's the update is this DJ. The softball tournament starts at 2, so you'll have the tournament. I guess the kids game first, and I think it goes to 7:30, and then we have food over there at the pizza place. Trash Halo says Barry Enright is garbage. Kylo checking in. What's up, Kylo? He says, you know what bugged me? How come only Trout, no Hoppy, only wore the Clemente jersey? The whole team either wears it or not at all. Boy, oh boy, I can go off on that too. I really, really could go off on that because we know what happens with, on 42 day, and rightfully so. Everybody should wear it. Roberto Clemente to the Latino background of ball players from every country was just as important, breaking barriers. And not only that, he too was a humanitarian in inner city baseball in his home country. He died trying to bring relief to his home country in a plane crash. Roberto Clemente is just as important. There's no fucking reason why all those players shouldn't have been wearing 21. That was an atrocity. I don't know who came up with that. I don't understand who got behind that. I thought that was highly weird that the Angels did not go a full team on that. Jackie Robinson, 42 for everybody. Same thing for Roberto Clemente. That's a travesty not having that. Mateo seems to think that that's fat.
This fat son of a bitch is going
Wait,
to drown us all out.
He's going to calm down, okay? All right?
He's fat.
Also, you got Mateo saying, "Hey Todd, why is football show in 2 parts last night? Something happened. Just wondering." Yeah, we had an issue with the. I was playing highlights, and YouTube's like, no, and they kind of demonetized this right there. Mr. Panda says Neto is players that the Angels need. He has discipline and commitment, but his swings have gotten wild though. He could be a lot more, committed and also not so complacent. He could be a lot more patient with the right kind of coaching. Let me tell you also something that bothers me. Let me tell you something that really, really bothers me as a longtime Angels fan. Even back in the days when you guys had Matt Wallback and other guys back there, a lot of fringe players, a lot of guys who suck, Greg Myers, Orlando Palmeiros. I'm going back, yes. Shigetoshi Asagawa. I will say this. Those teams that were perennial losers had more heart than this team and better coaching than this team. And not only that, they got their backs of their players. Meaning I've seen plenty of fights with those teams compared to the latest generation of Angel players who, if my guy Neto has been hit, which he's been hit several times, who started any of the kind of scuffles or bench clearings? Neto himself. Not the pitcher that was starting that day that said, "Hey, you know what? Fuck you. You hit one of our guys. I'm hitting your guy." We don't have that dog in us. I don't even know that stupid bastard who now is a part of, I think, Savannah Banana Ball. I think I saw him make a video about that. Our guy hit in that magical fight with Rendon the last time he was out there. Our guy hit that wanker, literally, that's his name, from the Mariners, and immediately apologized and threw his manager under the bus and said, "Nevin told me to." And we've gone over that plenty of times on this page. You don't do that. I don't care if the Pope tells you to. You say you did it. You own it. You eat it. You take it, and you say, "Hey, you're going to charge them out. I'm going to fucking hit you in the face." Where is that with this team? There is none. Our guys have been hit. Our young youth, our future has been hit, disrespected, and we don't do nothing. None of these pitchers who get a big contract like Kikuchi, Soriano, who's played with some of these guys in the minors before they came up here, even a veteran like Kyle Hendricks, They don't give two shits. They don't care. If I played and saw my guy get hit, you best believe I'm going to hit your guy. Because, okay, I understand if a pitch comes in and it's a mistake and right away the pitcher's like, oh, that's on me, man. I'm so sorry. Hey, no hard feelings. If I'm the pitcher that day, I see that. That's respect to my guy. No hard feelings. I don't throw back at him. But if my guy is frustrated, holding his hand because he thinks he broke his hand, or he comes over there and he's throwing shit in the dugout because he's mad he got hit, I'm taking his fuel and his energy, and I'm going to go out there on the mound, and I'm going to pick the guy I want to plunk. And I'm not going to show any regrets. Because the best things I've seen in my playing days is when one of our guys got hit and the pitcher would proceed to go back out in the mound and he would look for his opportunity. And when he took it, he stood right there and looked at the player. And he looked at the player. And while the catcher got the ball from the umpire and threw it back to him, he didn't take his eye off the player. And as the player went to first base, he's just waiting for him to make a move. Waiting for him to say something so he could say something back. Waiting for him to take a step so he could throw down his glove and get ready to cock his fist and punch him in the face. That's what you do. That's baseball. At some point, I think even the analytics told you not to fight. See, hockey, it's a part of the game. It's supposed to be. And baseball, it's the same shit. You throw at my guy intentionally, some people don't understand what a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, curveball even, can do to you. The bruising, because the adrenaline kicks in and it may not hurt at that point, but sure as shit, it'll hurt 2 days later or longer. You can crack a rib, deep thigh bruise, break a blood vessel, all kinds of shit. And that's not even talking about getting hit in the head. So again, I understand that there's pitches that get away. I understand that. But how many times have our guys been intentionally hit because the pitcher feels, no, that's my home plate. Neto crowds it too much. Shauna Will crowds it too much. Adele crowds it too much. Fuck you. If they're crowding it, pitch him inside to get him out. Don't hit my guy on purpose. So when they hit our guy on purpose, why aren't we responding? And see, it's the little things, guys, that would make all the difference. If we had players that said, hey, man, I got your back out there. Like, I got your back. Someone starts some shit, dude, I'm going to throw down because you're my guy. You're my boy. You're my teammate. That's what culture, winning culture does. We celebrate together. We lose together. We build each other up together. And we stick up for each other. Yes, this game gets you stupid money. But in the end, if you want to get to the goal of winning and being legendary, you got to stick up for one another. Do you think the 2002 Angels would you think Darren Erstad would let that shit fly of not sticking up for your guys? You think John Lackey, Jared Weaver, all those other guys that were, just hella good, Rodriguez, Percival, would let other teams get away from that crap? No, we saw plenty of scuffles and fights with those teams through the early 2000s. Because, again, they were winning. They weren't getting traded every 5 seconds or sent up or sent down. You had a culture. You had a belief system. You had it all. So, again, you're going to mess up my shit? I don't think so. But we don't have that. And that's what's going to continue to happen. Who do you think would be a good 2026 coach? At this point, it has to come down to who are we gonna get as far as an owner if we keep it Todd Fox or coach 2026. I wish. I've been saying this all season, but the manager's got to protect them damn players, and they don't. Will next season be better? Been a fan since 07, getting my hopes up, my heart broken. Again, the offseason will tell us everything. It will tell us everything. Hold on, I'm out, everyone. I've been a fan since '77. I hope everyone changes, or they change ownership. This has been the first year I haven't been to a game. I went to a couple Dodger games and a Padre game. Let the hope change for next year. That's what you got to hope for. You choose to come to the game. And if you say, "Hey, I don't want to come to the game. I don't want to be here. I can't stand this." I'm not going to hold it against you because you're a long-suffering Angel fan. You're a fan that went through a lot of shit. Boycott this team, force Artie to sell. Luke Johnson says, "Love you, Todd, but there's nowhere near the talent needed for a playoff team, especially on the pitching side." Listen, I agree to disagree with that. I think at times you've seen this pitching staff come through. I just don't think that they utilize the hitters right. The hitters would make a huge difference, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just what I feel. And I'm not saying you're wrong either. Let's see. Hey, I can ask a serious question. How about expect Perry to be a good GM if Artie's telling him what to do? That's the whole point. Sega Boy says, hope we come back stronger next year. No playoffs. David says, Todd, is there any other results driven business? If you don't produce, you're gone. Why is MLB the exception to the rule? I don't understand that either. I think it comes down to accountability again, and it comes down to ownership. If the ownership is not holding the people underneath him, and so on and so on and so on, you know, accountable, you're just going to keep seeing the same. I don't give a shit. Halo Boots checks in with, they need to play small ball, some hustle, anything to show this team cares. Who cares if this is the last few games? This is so painful. And that's true because you have people that are not into football that will see this game and the season out to the last pitch. They don't want to see, they rather see hustle. And if you're losing 9-2, did you put up 2 runs on 10 hits or 2 runs on 3 hits? And both were solo home runs. Did you get guys on base? Did you just make errors to give up those runs? Or were you just pounded? Like, you want to see improvements. So Skaggs trial is September 22nd. That's right around the corner. Players were dropping like flies. Yeah, because they're finding injuries to go. Tyler says, we may never hear our beloved Stukas till 2026. Sega Boy says, Ducks can renovate, but shitty Artie can't. Hashtag brokey. Useless Trucker, my boy, says, gotta hand it to Johnny. He never lets a strikeout problem last all season. Oh, yeah. Brandon also says, my last 2. Oh, yeah, I read those already. Sega Boy says, next year we are drafting a young pitcher. I think we're going to go UC Santa Barbara again. They got another pitcher, Bremer's boy. Depends on where we're drafting. Also, I don't think winning another game this year. So we'll see what happens there. Because again, I had hopes that we were going to go 81-81. Coach Mateo says, is multitasking, watching the Heating post-game show, making the game plan for tomorrow. Are the Angels dumb enough to bring back Rendon for 2026? I would agree they are. 805 Moreno says, do you think they will pick up Bichette, Bregman, Alfonso Suarez, and or Bieber? I think Bieber would be your likely move right there. Bichette is a maybe. I don't think Suarez, he'll demand a lot of money having the year he had. Bregman doesn't want to play with the freaking Angels. I can just tell you that right now. I want a Heaty hat. Where can I buy? Go to YouTube. If you're on it right now, go to the homepage. You can see the store right there. We have the Heaty hats in 3 different styles. Brandon says, Todd Fox, the man, would love to join the broadcast at a future time. Diehard Halo fan from Idaho who still has faith. We have the roster, but lack the coaching and front office. Well, Brandon, again, if you want to meet up or something, we have Bruheim coming up here in a couple weeks, and maybe I can have you on the show as well, dude. Email me at Halos in the Infield Podcast, Halos in the Infield Podcast at yahoo.com. We already talked about the Dodger Lodge takeover. That'll be this Friday. I want everyone to call into the AM 830 show and ask him this simple question. Is because he's a bootlicking house man. First,
Call me a bootlicking house man all you want. I don't give a damn.
He doesn't give a damn, but you should ask him, how much baseball is there left to be played?
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Let's see. Also, Trent Rush is a dweeb. Useless Trucker says, so glad Todd is not going away and we can see him on the NFL. And you can also see me on the Ducks, because the Ducks, we're going to be firing off on the last preseason game. We're going to start hockey on this channel, talking Ducks post game every night. And we'll be doing a watch party from Bruheim opening night, as the Ducks will be on the road in Seattle. So if you want to come down for that, you can check that out at Brewheim. We'll be there. We might have some giveaways. The Ducks will get the season kicked off, and we'll be at Brewheim to celebrate that, and also do a show live right there, live watch party. Also, Todd, your German accent on the Crime Pod was making me laugh. Appreciate it, Demetrio. Man, that crime show has taken an L's lately, dude, because of losing both Gabby and Matt. I've been trying to keep that sucker going, and it's been hard. So, and me and Ty have been crossed up on schedules, so I'm trying to get that crime show back on in shape, and I'm trying to see if I can get a show going this week. I got to record one because I've got a couple stories just sitting there. We haven't done shit with it. Why I like Bryce Harper. He stood up to the commissioner. That's some balls right there. Yep. And Brandon also says, how do I get on the panel from Idaho? Can I join remotely? Yes, you can. That day we go on, we should be live on this system right here. And if you get in the comments, I can literally just put out a link. You click on that link and we can add you to the page. So that's how we could do that. So also Trash Halo says they should hire Greg Maddux as a pitching coach, Pujols for manager, McGuire as a hitting coach. Now McGuire didn't do a bad job with the Dodgers. That's just what I'm saying. Josh is owner, Todd is GM, me as manager. There you go. Also, my old man predicted how bad this team would be in February because of analytics. Runs allowed versus runs scored speaks volumes. Check playoff contenders versus the Halos. And that's true. Stats don't lie. See, here's the thing. Locked On Cox likes to say you guys don't follow StatCast, and I don't. I think StatCast is stupid. I think analytics are interpreted. They're a Bible that is not written with, it doesn't have a. I should say, okay, let me take that back. The Bible is of analytics is interpreted by what each team thinks it is and what it says. And our team doesn't value it like other teams. And other teams actually utilize analytics in the right way and they win. Do I think analytics should be this prevalent in baseball? Hell no. Do I think that there's a place for them? Yes. But I think it's far less than 50%. But if we can just get the Angels to get it to 50%, because right now it's the overriding rule. We do not trust our managers and coaches to make decisions upon their own. We have to call it from upstairs, and that's a problem. That kind of baseball, that kind of over your back kind of coaching is not the way to go. And you need to coach with your knowledge, not some stupid ass stats. Now, stats as far as what's done and produced on the field, yes. If you're telling me, well, this player has a 30% chance to hit it to left field versus left-handed hitter pitchers via 70% to hit it to right field or 73%, I don't want to know those stats. All I care about is this game was not freaking just invented. It's been there for years. So my thing is, if I've got a left-handed pitcher, I want to write as many right-handed hitters in the lineup, unless I got a Shauna Will, Tony Gwynn, someone who could hit left-handed hitters. If I got a bunch of left-handed hitters who like Mancada, who's not really good versus left-handed pitchers, I don't want him in the lineup. That's all it is. It's basic fundamentals. You know what I mean? Like, and if a guy who's a pull ball hitter, well, I'm going to try to pitch him off the plate. And if I fall behind, then I got to take that chance and come inside. I mean, it's basic baseball. You don't need all this stupid shit. But that's what's ruining this team. Analytics have really ruined this team. Demetrio says, dude, the mid to late 90s teams always tried to win. They just weren't good enough, and they tried. Yes, that's why everybody has a soft spot for the Angels. In a way, because it's like, dude, like those teams were really good. Those teams had they came out to play every night. They didn't, they might have lost, but they didn't disappoint you with effort or lack thereof. Also, with the Roberto Clemente Day, all teams are given a choice to wear the 21 patch. I watched the Giants game. Some of them did the same thing. Phillies as well. MLB screwed that up. Yeah, you don't give it. You make it. Preach, Mr. Fox. Thank you right there. Sega Boy says these sorry ass players need to hear what Todd Fox is saying because he's speaking facts. I appreciate that. Upgrading Angel Stadium will cost $500 million or renegotiate and kill the contract and settle for $100 to $200 million and relocate the team to cities like Portland. No, there's no way that they're going to get out of that contract. They're here to 2032. And also, it would cost you have to pay a new franchise fee. Plus, you're already talking about trying to move a franchise when you just moved Vegas. You're having problems with that. You're going to have Tampa Bay go to Orlando, so Tampa Bay is going to lose a franchise. You're going to see Nashville with a brand new team. Portland possibly will get a new team. Expansion and moving teams will not be a thing in the next few years, especially after the collective bargaining agreement is settled. But I do think the Angels are going to be in a bad spot here pretty soon with that whole renovation audit shit. Let's see. Also, damn this, buddy, you're still yapping. Yes, I am yapping. Brandon also says boycotting won't fix the already issue. Got to shut that idea down. It won't happen. Too much profit to be made for a billionaire. That's the other thing. So if you can't get a unified, like not showing up to the stadium, because even if you do show up to the stadium, it would be cool to have chants, signs, anything, right? But we don't have that either. So that's where we're at. Demetrius says, I'm so pumped up for Ducks coverage. I remember asking for that in 2021. Yeah, it took us this long to get that going. Dan Rio says, me love you long time. By the way, Dan, since you're on here, I got to pass the bad news. I went to two of the guys who I thought could fix that jersey, and both said that it would rip the jersey or make it. He's trying to take off the Los Angeles patch. I said, what about a patch over? What about putting the Anaheim patch over that one? So I gave you two options, my man. You either take the jersey as is, or I could try to get you your refund back and then try to have him do it the right way. Because that moron that I had told him not to put the LA patch, and he put the LA patch like a dumbass. So I apologize. That's on him, but I apologize for him. Mudwater says, why does Johnny Washington have a job? Trout is horrible. Looks like he needs to retire. I guarantee you they fix his swing and he'll be back to Mike Trout. I'm going to call Roger and record it. Thank you. By the way, if you guys get that for that Friday, on Saturday, we'll play that at the, what is it called? The show next year. So there you go. Or not the final show there, the show on the, God, what am I blanking? The watch party / round table. There you go. All right. So with that being said, yeah, I have been yapping for a while. I didn't even realize we're at an hour and 20 minutes right there. I'm good going on to games. Yeah, I know Canero's out over there on TikTok. He's thrown in the towel a while ago. So let me play Me Love You Long Time right here.
There's a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight, which makes me so horny, and me love you long time.
By the way, again, will Milwaukee tell us this?
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful! How terrible! Oh no!
Corey says, why hasn't anybody been fired yet? Because here's the deal. I don't know how many of you have worked at some of these jobs where, okay, you have a owner or someone that's running the job, and they say, okay, we're going to let you go. And some jobs will let you go that day if they don't like you, if they fire you or whatever. Some people will be like, hey man, we're giving you 2 weeks. And hey, we're not going to re-up you. We're just going to cut you right now. Or some say, hey, we're going to have you work till your contract's up. And I think that's where the Angels fall in place. Even though that these guys deserve to be fired, they're going to look at it and say, listen, why are we paying this guy not to do anything? We're already paying someone $38 million not to do it. So there it is. And by the way, Dan, your other jersey should be here any day now. So you'll have both of them. So the next time I run into you, Dan, I'll just pop you those 2 jerseys, or I could run in as soon as I get the other one. If you don't mind, I'll just meet up with you, give you both those jerseys. So there you go. There's going to be some change, hopefully, in the off season when it comes to roster rebuilding. Hopefully front office, hopefully ownership. But again, we'll have to wait and see. There's really no new news on that. As far as I'm concerned, again, I do know one thing. They do want to get that renovation done before the collective bargaining agreement. So you would think they would have to do something in this off season, get started on it, or work through it during the regular season. So we'll see. Bruce checks in with Moniak in San Diego, went 4-for-4 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. He also stole 2 bases. His on base, his OPS is 818, slugging percentage is 515, his average is 270, and he's platooned. I know some of that's skewed because he played in Colorado, Bruce, but you can't argue with those results, right? And that's what good coaching. That's also, Bruce, to good. I mean, again, Colorado sucks, but they have enough coaching right there, and that's probably less analytics. And they probably sat down with him and said, okay, this is what you're going to do. This is what's going to happen. Corey says, when are we going to hear about Skaggs? I don't know what they're going to. I don't know, because it's only going to go one of two ways. Artie's already pushed it to the limit. It's going to trial. He could still settle. If he settles, we don't know the ramifications or how much he spent. But if it goes through the entire trial, you're talking about 2 to 3 day trial, maybe max, and then we'll know some of the obvious details. But I wouldn't expect to hear anything right off the bat. All the T's have to be crossed and the I's have to be dotted before we know. All right, so I went on for a long time. Then we have 200 people. Well, we have 100 over here watching, so I appreciate that. Tony C says, good job, Todd, as always. Go Ducks. Thank you, Tony C. Appreciate that. Hopefully you're having a better night than you had a better morning. I was talking with him off air, so hopefully he's doing good. Tony C's the man over there. And appreciate everybody being on. Again, last thing I'll say before I tune out and close the show is I appreciate everybody still being loyal. I know I took a couple days off. I felt bad for doing it, but I'm like, damn it, dude, this team is not giving me back the same energy. They're not playing with fight or fire. And it's hard to watch this team on it. Well, I mean, I still watch them, but it's hard to get behind because it's like at this point, it's useless breaking down the box scores. 14 to 16 strikeouts per game, still doing the same shit over and over and over. We're just hitting repeat. It's bad baseball. We're seeing the other teams just look phenomenal, no matter who they are playing us. So last thing I'll say is, hey, man, check us out in a couple weeks, couple Saturdays from now. We'll be at Bruheim celebrating Fan Appreciation Day. Hopefully you guys can get out there at 3:00. We'll start the show. And then at 6:00, we'll head over. We're going to be there with the Halo boys. A lot of other people will be there. Then the softball game is this Saturday in Laguna. The Heedy baseball team's locked in. If you're a part of the team, hell yeah, we'll see you there on Saturday for some good fun. And it should be an all-around good time. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, hit us up at Halos in the Infield podcast at yahoo.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us there, or via Instagram. We read all the messages right there that you send us. And then also, last thing I got to is just a reminder, if you're a Ducks fan, we've got a big name that we haven't even released yet that is coming over from TikTok, who has a big following. He's going to be part of the network, and we're going to be doing Ducks and Angels here. Ducks to start the season here pretty soon. We're going to have plenty of hockey coverage, interviews. He's got the ins with the teams. We'll be going to games with you there too. So it should be very, very fun moving into hockey season, and just hoping that the Angels off season goes the way we hope it does. So fingers crossed for everything. Again, props to you for watching the show. Props for you to being a part of this, and also being the best part of Halos in the Infield, and also being a fan of a team that doesn't give a shit about you. And I hate saying that, but right now, under Artie's reign of terror, he doesn't care about you, but we do. We care about you. We want you to stay Angel fans. We want you to stay in the hunt, to keep watching the team, and hopefully greener pastures are there for all of us in the future. But until then, we gotta burn through it, and hopefully be the best fans we can be, and also be there to cheer on this team and the players, because most of the players, I will say most of the players, it's not their fault. We do have players that are playing into the mediocrity and the shitty culture that we've established under the ownership. But there are players that are dogs like Neto, Shonawell, Christian Moore. There's a lot of players that need to get your support regardless, because they're trying. They really are. They're just being led by the wrong people. So with that being said, everybody, I talked enough. Have a good rest of your night. I'll be on here tomorrow to sum up, hopefully, a salvageable win. I doubt it. Milwaukee is a juggernaut. They just might come out of the NL this year. Everybody have a good rest of your night. Go Halos.